In a time of turbulence, tumult, and uncertainty, it is critical for everyone to take concrete action to mobilize for peace. From peacekeepers on the front lines of conflicts to community members to students in classrooms around the world, everyone has a role to play. We must speak up against violence, hate, discrimination, and inequality. Practice respect and embrace the diversity of our world. Well, today on Panorama, we'll focus our discussion on the crucial place of peace in communal relations, especially as the world celebrated the International Peace Day, which was yesterday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ruth Aguela. Welcome. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived to New York ahead of the 80th United Nations General Assembly session, leading Nigeria's delegation as directed by President Bola Tinubu. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that upon his arrival, the Vice President met with all the members of the Nigerian delegation on expectations of the country's participation.
Vice President Kashim Shettima arrives in New York, received at the J.F. Kennedy International Airport, welcomed by some members of the Nigerian delegation, as well as officials of the Nigerian mission in New York and other stakeholders. Vice President Kashim Shettima engaged members of the delegation ahead of his schedule to join other leaders at the global event to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. He would also deliver Nigeria's national statement on behalf of President Bola Tinubu and attend a special event on climate for heads of state and government to be hosted by the United Nations Secretary General.
The topical issues that will clearly come up. So we've reiterated Nigeria's position, the conflicts in the Middle East, in Gaza, Israel, Palestine. There's the issue of Eastern Congo. There is the conflict in Sudan. The Vice President will be meeting with the Prime Minister of Sudan. He's also going to be participating in the African Union's Peace and Security Council meeting, which is going to be taking place.
So in all is to push forward the Renewed Hope agenda, is to push forward the areas that we're focusing on for investment, is to push for the reforms that the Nigerian economy has experienced in the last 2 years, and to make sure that all the friends of Nigeria in New York for this event are well versed in the position of where we are right now.
And of course, we look at areas of strength, and of course, knowing fully that Nigeria is one of the leading economies in Africa. And of course, we know some of the very important reforms that were established at the beginning of our government in Nigeria that have really opened up a lot of opportunities. And of course, we believe this very important UN General Assembly will certainly further reposition Nigeria as one of the destinations for people to come invest in our own country.
Vice President Shettima is also slated to attend the high-level roundtable of the global champions on adequate and affordable housing to be hosted by the President of Kenya on September 24th and attend other bilateral meetings and events. From New York, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Back home, as the country continues to bear the burden of increasing incidents of femicide, the Force Pathologist Office of the Nigeria Police Force has come up with empirical data to inform policymakers on preventing violence against women and girls. Now, the information was presented at a one-day symposium in Lagos State. Musa Toliet reports.
Every time a female gender is attacked and killed, the wheel of justice is activated and prosecution of perpetrator is imminent. Yet, the absence of reliable data on femicide rates in Nigeria highlights the challenge faced by security agents and civil society groups to predict and nip impending femicide in the bud. To address this data gap, the First Pathologist Office of the Nigeria Police embarked on a 5-year retrospective analysis from 2020 to 2024 on Lagos State's femicide burden using the statistical framework developed by the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime and UN Women.
This study brief will serve as a valuable template and essential resources for understanding and combating femicide in Lagos State and Nigeria at large.
Key findings showed that a total of 1,666 unnatural deaths involving males and females were reported to the State Criminal Investigation Department of the police during the study period.
Intelligence gathering and data analysis, we need all that to be able to actually do our job appropriately, maintain law and order, protect lives and property.
The data is expected to boost criminal justice system in Lagos State.
This kind of data will also help us to appreciate the reasons for the killing of women in all these heinous crimes.
Stakeholders react to the findings presented by the Nigeria Police Pathologist Office.
The body language of the police is that they take crimes against, they take violence against women and girls seriously. So this is a very welcoming development that we hope will lead to better legislation on femicide.
The Nigeria Police say the data gathered will support evidence-based policy making, enhance accountability, and strengthen efforts to prevent femicide and gender-based violence across the country.
We have been able to categorize out of the 350 female deaths, as 70 were femicides. And we've been able to actually also do what we call disaggregated variables of, that means the pattern of this femicide.
Femicide is not something to be disregarded at all. We have trained the minds of our officers and equally their operational modalities to ensure that once before it occurs, we prevent them, because this dovetail from domestic violence before it leads into what is called a femicide.
There was a consensus for government agencies, civil society organizations, and research institutions to work together to gather and maintain up-to-date statistics on gender-related killings. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
The National Health Insurance Authority has launched a new natal service in Kano as part of its comprehensive emergency obstetrics and neonatal care program. Director General of NHIA, Dr. Kelechi Ohiri, said the program has already been piloted in Lagos and will be expanded to other states, aiming to expand health services to vulnerable people, particularly newborns and mothers. Over 14,000 women have been treated under the maternal component of the program, with about 40% of the beneficiaries from Kano. The NHIA says independent external verifiers will provide oversight to ensure accountability. Everywhere around the world, the chant of peace echoes in unison. And the National Unity and Peace Corps reminds Nigerians that peace is not just the absence of conflict, strife or war, but the presence of social justice and respect for human rights. Hence the need for everyone to act now and everybody for a peaceful world. Let's hear more from Chinenye Nwoye.
For many Nigerians, peace is personal. It is not automatic, but rather the result of deliberate actions and efforts of the citizens who bear the brunt of conflicts, banditry, communal clashes, ethnic and religious tensions. For these men and women of the National Unity and Peace Corps, NUPEC, it was not just a show of color. It is a pledge and call for all Nigerians to actively engage and participate in all efforts to foster peace.
Each and every member of the society must contribute to have and maintain an enduring and sustainable peaceful environment.
While the promotion of peace is a call to action, the Commandant General of NUPEC clarifies the Corps' position on deploying negotiation on issues of banditry.
we do not subscribe to the fact that you have to dialogue with terrorists, because terrorists are against the state. Therefore, even though you apply mechanism of dialogue, there should be an element of force too, to bring them to the round table. That is what we believe. So it's a double-barrel approach.
From peacekeepers on the front line to community members and other citizens, everyone has a role to play, and that is to truthfully speak out against social vices, as well as act now and every day for a peaceful world. In Abuja, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
So even beyond the celebration, which was yesterday, we must act now, because the International Day of Peace was established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly. Now, 2 decades later, in 2001, the General Assembly unanimously voted to designate, the day as a period of non-violence and ceasefire. With the theme for this year, Act Now for a Peaceful World, the United Nations enjoins countries and communities to prioritize peaceful coexistence and negotiation above conflict. So we have in the studio to speak further on this issue, the Executive Director of the Flag Foundation, Comrade Chris Aguirre. Thank you very much for joining us, Comrade.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers.
All right, very important theme, Act Now for Peace. It's a clarion call, you would say, for everybody. It cuts across, status or background. What's your thought?
Yeah, indeed. Like the backgrounds rightfully stated, act now for peace. The yearning for peace is ingrained in the subconscious of every human being. The Bible enjoins us with a silent active command: seek peace and pursue peace. Also known in the book of Matthew, it said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." And so it behooves on every human being to seek for peace at every level, to enforce, to take proper steps to ensure that it's a peaceful coexistence. Like the United Nations theme for this year, Act Now for a Peaceful World. And back here in Nigeria, I must say that we say something, that's a slogan: see something, say something.
Yeah.
And so, to avoid conflict, to avoid war and crisis, the major step is, if you see something that is not right, if you see something that is not in consonance with the peaceful society, say something. Report to the authorities. Nigeria's role in the global peace is a very outstanding one. Nigeria participated from 1960 in peacekeeping operations in Congo. Nigeria was there in Somalia, in Sudan, in Chad, in Yugoslavia, for peace in Lebanon. Then talk about the ECOWAS. Nigeria played a major role, contributing almost 2/3 of both men and resources to ensure peace within the ECOWAS sub-region. So, and we paid a dear price for it. So peace is an expensive thing. As expensive as it is, we must seek peace and pursue peace with all men.
And peace comes with that sacrifice from within. The role of individuals, it takes practical step beyond what you said about when you see something, you say something. Those practical steps of saying no to violence. We see communal clashes, we see attacks and all of that. What do you make of our society today on people taking those practical steps to sheathe their swords?
Yeah, well, fundamentally, if you look at our national flag, the white in our national flag, white means peace. White symbolizes peace. And so, in Nigeria today, there are a lot of conflicts. Communal clashes, insurgency, terrorism, agitators for different reasons. One is this: where there is lack of social justice in any society, the chances of crisis is high. Where there is no equality, where there is marginalization. So it behooves on every leader every responsible family man, every community leader to listen to different voices. When people are complaining, when people are agitating for something, pay attention, listen to them. They must be saying something. And so don't allow things to get to the point of crisis before you can pay attention to their complaints and whatever is their grievances against the state or against the fellow community or against individuals. So in other words, peace efforts starts with the individual, then extends to the leadership at every level. Because without peace, you can't have development. Without peace, you can't, of course, peace is everything, peace and security. You can see the efforts of our armed forces men, the expenditure in bringing about peace in Nigeria. Some of these things would have been avoided if the leadership had paid attention earlier. Notwithstanding, there are those who are against the state, who are, asking for different things. Say, for instance, Boko Haram, talking about the Islamic province of West Africa, trying to, carve out a different entity outside Nigeria. Well, those kind of people actually are not seeking for peace. So the state must take appropriate steps to enforce peace, to bring them to conform. And then another thing that will engender peace is our laws. When matters are delayed, when attention is not given to maybe cases in court and all that, it results to people taking laws into their hands, which is not advisable at all. So let our legal system be strengthened, that matters can be dispensed of and discussed. That is why you also have the ADA, the Alternative Dispute Resolution, which is a win-win way of addressing misunderstandings.
Comrade, I understand your passion, and I know you're a strong advocate for peace, so we'll continue the dialogue even beyond this conversation. Well done, and thank you for coming on Panorama.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. Thank you for staying tuned. The National Commission for Persons with Disabilities joins the global community in commemorating the 2025 International Week of the Deaf under the theme, "With Deaf People, We Can Achieve." The annual observance highlights the voices, rights, and aspirations of deaf persons worldwide and reaffirms the Commission's commitment to building an inclusive Nigeria where no one is left behind. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Ayuba Gufwan, says the International Week of the Deaf is not just a celebration. It is a powerful reminder of the resilience, creativity, and contributions of deaf persons to the society. In other news, traditional rulers and stakeholders of Southern Ijaw local government area in Bayelsa State are calling on government at all levels to intervene and resolve lingering issues that led to the close down of the first ever federal polytechnic of oil and gas. Samuel Numonengi reports.
Ekowe community of Southern Ijaw local government area of Bayelsa State is host to the first federal polytechnic of oil and gas in the country. Educational activities have been suspended for some time now following a strike action by various unions due to disagreement with the management of the polytechnic. This led to the president of the National Association of Polytechnic Students calling for the relocation of the institution, which many see as a call in the wrong direction. Paramount ruler of Ekowe Community's Royal Highness Dr. Toboro Andy Godwill and other stakeholders noted that the federal government has put in so much in the institution which the community protects against vandals, and the call for relocation of the school is unnecessary.
Federal government haven't acknowledged the peaceful nature of Ekowe, cited this institution in Ekowe. So I have no words to appreciate the federal government. Ekowe youths have stood out to protect Ekowe, the polytechnics, for those who had vandalized that polytechnics.
They say economic activities have been altered due to the lingering strike action, calling on both management and union leaders to see dialogue as the best way to resolve issues and end the suffering of innocent students who are at home rather than being in school.
The Governing Council is empowered by law to resolve labor-related matters in an institution like this. So its core is very, very baseless.
They are also of the view that if a road is constructed to Ekewe community, it will open the state to other economic activities and urge management of the institution to move all their activities to Ekewe from Yanagwa to ease the stress faced by students who travel each time they need to sort out administrative issues. From Ekewe in Southern Niger local government area, Samuel Numonengi, NTA News.
In Nigeria's academic landscape, unique initiatives are making impactful strides in promoting peace, decency on university campuses and pushing forward the use of Nigerian languages to select a campus beauty queen that will showcase Nigerian cultural values. Gufan Shajungwai tells us more about this initiative.
Amidst Nigerians' vibrant cultural tapestry, where fashion meets tradition on runways and in beauty contests, there's a growing emphasis on promoting peace, cultural heritage, and linguistic pride in our universities. The 2025 Miss Nas Beauty and Brains Contest is one of the platforms for celebrating Nigeria's diversity, advocating for harmony on campuses.
Miss Nas Nigeria is not just a beauty contest. It is a platform carefully designed to showcase the intellectual capacity, leadership skills, and peace-building potentials of Nigerian students. Address the rising cases of campus violence, courtism, harassment, drug abuse, and other social vices that threaten the peace and sustainability of our learning environment.
Messengers of Peace have warmly accepted this partnership with NANS. We also appeal that all students should key into this project. Why? Because one of the very first models we're going to introduce to this brand is to make sure we use our dialect in doing the selection and the screening process. Every contestant must be able to speak one local dialect in Nigeria.
They also called on the government, school authorities, civil society organizations to partner with them in building campuses where excellence is celebrated, peace is protected, and students are empowered to reach their full potential. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ogwanyi, NTA News.
All right, next will be sports update.
Team Nigeria have rounded off their campaign at the 2025 World Athletic Championship in Tokyo with 1 silver medal to finish joint 27th in the overall medals table. World 100-meter hurdles record holder got Nigeria's only medal after finishing second in 12.29 seconds. In the overall medal standing, Team USA secured 16 gold medals and record 26 medals to emerge overall champions. Kenya finished second with 7 gold medals. Now to the Nigerian Premier Football League, where Niger Tornadoes have to second spot on the league table after defeating Ikorodu City in 6-goal thriller. Elsewhere in Ibadan, Shooting Stars secured their first victory of the season in Hartford 2-1 win over Kun Khalifa. In Yenagua, Nasarawa United secured the only away win of the day after Vital's 2-1 victory against Bayelsa United. Reigning Nigerian Premier Football champions Remo Stars secured a resounding 4-0 victory against visiting US Zilmaju of DR Congo in the first leg of the 2025-2026 CAF Champions League preliminary round. In the Confederation Cup, Kwara United 3 goals were not enough as they fell to host Ashanti Kotoko of Ghana in a 7-goal thriller, while another Nigerian club side, Abia Warriors, managed a 1-1 draw against visiting Joliba AC of Mali. Finally, let's take you to England, where Arsenal and Manchester City shared the point in a 1-1 draw. Haaland had given the visitors the lead in the 9th minute, only for Gabriel Martinelli to grab a late equalizer in the 93rd minute, while the encounter between Bournemouth and Newcastle ended in a barren draw. For Sport Update, Amazongo, NTA News.
And we're done with Panorama. Thank you for your time. Do have a beautiful day ahead. I'm Ruth Aguele.